Anvil, Hammer, Hatchet podcast. And we are go.
We are live for our maiden voyage.
Episode number 1.
Yeah. Finally getting to it. We've been planning this for a minute.
For many a minute. In the garage, in humble beginnings, we are in the garage. We are in my garage.
Hey, some of the best and brightest go live from their garage.
This is the revisited, Garage Days Revisited.
There's a certain individual who I won't mention, but I'm a big fan of, who has interviewed the President of the United States in his garage. And
you can't mention him. Why can't you mention him?
It's Mark Maron. That's
okay.
Just because I don't know why I wouldn't mention him. I'm a fan.
Oh, I started listening to him recently.
Yeah, Maron's great, man. He's great.
He's done some really good ones. I haven't gotten too far down the rabbit hole with him. I'm still listening to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Rogan's a good one.
Stuff.
Definitely.
So
Joe Rogan experience.
Yeah.
Definitely would advise anybody who's into interesting, funny conversations to check those out. Why are we plugging other people's podcasts?
Because we're awesome. That's why.
We have a show.
This is our show.
Let's plug our show.
So, Chris, this is you, the engineer and co-host, I would say. Engineer because...
Engineer might be a strong word.
Well,
but that's
you're
all right.
the one with all the gear.
Yes, I'm the one who bought stuff. So, yeah.
You have stuff.
I'll take title of engineer.
Yeah, and you know how to hook it up.
Or owner of stuff.
Yes. Because I don't know how to hook any of that stuff up. I mean, it would take me a day, to figure it out.
I'm a nerd for all this stuff, so I have fun doing all this stuff. So
that's why it works out perfectly.
Yeah. And I have a great bag to put everything in, so that's really helpful.
Bags are important. Let it be known.
Got to get the gear from point A to point B. Should also be stated that we are actually a trio, not a duo.
True. We're down a man today. Ross, the boss,
is under the weather at this point. Very disappointing. We really wanted him here, but he's here in spirit, and hopefully will be coming on board soon.
I think he's hungover.
That I would hope so. I would hope it's not due to a weak babyish constitution.
Oh, right, his tummy hurts.
He has the immune system of a small child.
Right.
No.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're here. We finally are able to do it, and we're just going to kind of kick it off. And
yeah, absolutely. And
I guess the first thing, we actually have done another podcast. We tried to do another one. It was more about feeling it out, seeing how it was going to work.
See, I kind of felt like it was because we had an event that we wanted to document.
Right.
We were, and so we had to sort of make it up on the fly.
Right.
And so we have technically recorded an episode, but
yeah, and that was a good hour and a half episode too.
I think it was closer to 2.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we were babbling like a brook.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was just, we had a show that came out.
And the show was
High on Fire.
High on Fire.
That was an amazing show, wouldn't you say, Chris?
Fuck off.
How did you enjoy the show?
Well, funny you should say that. Yeah, that was a real bummer. So I had been wanting to go see High on Fire. I've only been a fan of them for like a year or so. You actually, I think, turned me on to them. And I always thought they were one of those like new metal bands or whatever,
sort of progressive metal.
Yeah, just because of the
noodly and noddy.
I had no idea what it was, and I'm kind of closed-minded when it comes to new bands.
Right.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
So
when you say new metal, you mean NU,
right,
not
exactly.
NW. Right.
So, anyway, I got turned on to them. Really excited to go see Matt Pike and the boys, and it was at the Ritz in San Jose. We got a hotel room. A shitty hotel room.
It was a perfect hotel.
It was a perfect spot.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally 4 doors down from the venue.
Yeah. We walked to the show. Well, you guys walked. I sort of crawled.
Ross and I went back to the room between every band.
I know. I remember.
And while
that.
they were doing setup, there was no point to hang around a bunch of like sweaty dudes. We just went back to the hotel room and drank more.
Yeah.
It worked out perfectly.
Right.
Perfectly.
Yeah. And while we were doing the podcast, I was losing time.
Yeah. We were definitely pre-gaming for the show.
Pre-game too hard. So we finish the podcast. We walk down to the Ritz, and we go out to the smoking section.
We went in and checked out the band that was playing at the time. Tail ass end of their set.
Do you remember what they were called? Because I don't remember.
Unfortunately, I don't. There was originally 3 bands booked. A 4th band had gotten added. So I'm not sure what that band, the first band that we saw was, but we saw the very end of their set. So they wrapped up right after we got there, and we went out front to smoke. And things went sideways.
Well, yeah. So we go out to smoke, and I just sort of lean over the bars or whatever, and then I just crumpled.
You were to my left, Ross was to my right. I was chatting with Ross, and out of my peripheral vision on my left-hand side, I started seeing you get lower and lower and lower.
That is not my modus operandi, but it did happen that night, and I did miss the show, and I was super bummed.
And you were so excited, too. I was so... And I think Ross was actually getting irritated with me because I was...
You were like, come on, I was
harassing you to go, let's come... And I just literally did not want you to have the disappointment the next day.
Yeah, there was no way...
Every time we would go back to... Because obviously we took you back to the room and you just hit the bed. You know, you were done. And every time we went back to the room between bands, I was like... All right, buddy, you ready to throw your shoes on? Let's go do this.
I remember you saying that.
Ross is like elbowing me in the stomach. Dude, leave him alone. And he's like, later on, he's like, I'm sorry, I just know I've been in that state before. And when people are like bugging you to like get your shit together, it's really And I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. Well, I just really want Chris to see High on Fire.
And I really wanted to go. And toward the end of that time, laying on the bed, I actually started clearing up to the point because I was more stoned than I was drunk.
Right. And
allegedly. So I started wearing off, and I started actually feeling better. But at that point, the show was over.
Because usually those little spells don't last that long. Right. So when we would go back, I was genuinely hoping maybe you were feeling better enough to be like, you know what, man, I don't feel great, but I can stand up. Let's go.
I probably could have manned up and done it, but it wouldn't have been fun.
Yeah, and once you're down, you're down. So yeah, I was disappointed for you.
Was it loud though?
And elated for me because it was a fantastic show.
Yeah,
and I've avoided going on at lengths about how good it was and how it was literally everything I could have wanted out of that show.
And you said that they played my favorite song, The Falconist.
They played all my favorite songs. Yeah. I mean, did
they do any sleep songs?
No, they did not. They did play. Sleep did play recently, though. A friend of mine
down in L.A.
Yeah, I told you about that, right? That they were playing with the Melvins, and damn it, it's in Los Angeles. I wish we could afford to go and had the time and had the availability. And then I see that my friend Brian is going. He went to and he lives right where we do, and he went and saw them, and
you know what we should
ended up at some event where he met Peter Criss.
A what?
Yeah. I'm just like, dude,
Peter Criss from Kiss.
From Kiss, right? Yeah. I'm like, I'm clearly doing life wrong.
Wow.
I am not doing life right because my life's not like that.
I'm sure you've had those moments, though. You've had those moments.
Yeah, but not for a long time. At least pretending to be responsible adults is really annoying sometimes.
Yeah, ever since I moved back from Austin, my, being able to hang with rockers is diminished, but,
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, that's one thing about that show. I didn't go anywhere near the pit. Yeah. And when I was 17, you wouldn't have been able to keep me away from that.
Right. But did they have a pretty good pit? Were people moshing or were they just bobbing?
It was active up by the front, and for a band where the majority of the audience is, let's just say, not teenagers.
Yeah.
They definitely have a younger fan base, which is, that's awesome. That younger kids are picking up on a band that old heshers like me and you still listen to and really love. So
yeah.
It's good to see that they're keeping their fan base without having to do comedies about driving RVs, like Ice Cube, for example. That's how he chose to sort of introduce himself to a new generation.
Well,
Was to make family-friendly movies.
Right.
Which is fine. I actually respect that hustle. That's a smart thing to recognize.
You got to grow up, right? You got to move forward. You got to progress.
Well, you got to, the fact that he was able to identify the fact that his fans were aging out because it had been X amount of years since NWA or even his solo records were being picked up by kids, and then saying, no, I don't want my fan base to just age along with me. I want it to continue to the next generation, and a way he's found to do that was to do family movies.
And he's still an ice cold motherfucker.
Yeah. He's great. And my point is that he's clearly very business savvy.
Oh yeah,
because that was a straight up business move.
Yep, and they got schooled.
I'm staying irrelevant.
They got schooled back in the day on how to run businesses. After being run into the ground and all that kind of stuff. So they know. But as far as like High on Fire, they're so relevant to me.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Just because prolific. Like Matt Pike is just uber prolific. And he writes these amazing fucking
really
riffs,
songs.
Amazing songs. So, and I haven't even delved that deep into their catalog yet. A couple of albums or whatever.
I think I've got them all. There might be one I'm missing.
How many are there? Like 10 or something?
I want to say like 7-ish, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to actually go back and look, but enough. They've got a decent catalog for sure, and it's all good. They're just one of those bands that and they have a variety of sounds within their band as well. They don't
kind of like
all the songs do not sound the same. They're not one trick ponies by any stretch of the imagination.
Who another band that I kind of correlate along those same lines is Queens of the Stone Age.
Very much so.
Their variety of songs is all over the place.
Definitely. And
really well done stuff.
Yeah. But they don't have a specific style or sound. But one thing they do have is an identity. When you hear them, you can almost always tell it's them right away.
Right.
Even though it doesn't, but all their songs definitely do not sound alike.
I remember the very first time I ever heard them, I was sitting in Magnolia Cafe in Austin. It must have been, 98, 97, 98, or whenever the, what is that, Rated R, their first, I think that was their first album, wasn't it? I think that was their first album. It had like...
it was the...
Vicodin, marijuana, ecstasy, and alcohol, a feel-good hit of the summer.
The cover of their first album was the one with the close-up of the girl's panties. She's got her hands on her
The
hips.
one I'm thinking of is just a blue cover, and it says Rated R.
Yeah, I don't think that was their first record.
Okay, maybe not.
What is it? There's Lullabies to Paralyze and Era Vulgaris. Rated R.
I don't know what order they go in either. I should know that, but I don't.
But the thing is, we don't ingest music like we used to.
That's true.
If that had come out when we were 14.
Oh, this is the first album? I have to go get the second album.
Well, and you would have memorized the album cover, and there we go. Mm-hmm. Now, with MP3s and digital downloads, you don't necessarily always see cover art. Right. Or check album titles, or even know track lists. Half the time, you may not even know a song's name.
Right.
You just know what it sounds like, and you like it, and we just ingest music differently.
Well, that's like all the new Slayer album, Repentless, I picked up, and I didn't physically buy it. I downloaded the album.
Right.
And which is great because all the tracks are there, and I just burned it onto a disc so I could play it in my car.
Sure.
I don't know the names of any of the songs.
Or necessarily even know what the album art looks like or whatever.
No, other than what I've seen online, but it's not like I'm pulling out the what do you call it, the leaflet on the inside, and opening it up and reading all the liner notes, which was an awesome part of, like, I remember when I got Kill 'Em All.
Or cleaning up your weed on the album, the vinyl cover.
That's going back probably before my time.
Stems and seeds. Got to get rid of them, allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah. But I do miss reading all the liner notes, and I remember on Master of Puppets, Metallica was thanking like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like comic book stuff,
right.
just odd, obscure things.
And other bands and stuff. And that was actually,
bands.
that was kind of a good way to get turned on to not just other bands, but like you said, other media, you know, if they...
Yeah, big thanks to Death Angel and Forbidden or
Why
whatever.
does Death Angel keep coming up? It's such a random band to...
They've had a resurgence lately.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
That's because of that. I mean, they've
touring.
popped out of my mouth a couple of times. Death Angel has come up, and I'm like, why is that in my head all of a sudden?
Yeah, they're touring again. They're out. I don't know if they've got another album or not, but they're Bay Area band.
Creator, though. Creator does have a new album.
Creator does.
Yes. So, yeah, apparently Thrash is making a comeback.
Which is so great. Well,
somehow I ended up on Nuclear Blast mailing list, so I keep getting all these random notifications about these old metal bands that have new albums out.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
There is another great thrash band, and I don't think thrash ever went away. It just kind of
maybe moved to even more underground or a little more niche than it always was.
Because there's that band you probably remember, Municipal Waste, with Ryan Waste.
Name rings a bell for sure.
Yeah, very thrashy. Didn't quite make the mainstream thrash circuit, but they were definitely a big player in all that stuff. And so now Ryan Waste is in a band called Bat with Felix Griffin from DRI, who we're going to try to get Felix on the show.
Yeah, that would be great down the road if we could.
But he's in a band called Bat, and I think their guitar player is Nick Paulos.
And they're out of Austin? Or out of Texas at least? Or?
Felix is out of Texas. I think they all kind of meet up and record and tour. I don't know where the other guys live at. I don't think it's in Texas.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I don't know where they're from. But I did go to see them in Oakland. I talked to Felix, and he's like, yeah, come on down. I got tickets for you. So me and Karen went, my wife and I, and we hung out with Felix and got to see Bat play. And it was awesome. A bunch of thrash bands played, and they just had this massive...
I mean, does it sound like traditional, like kind of old school thrash?
Yeah, old school thrash. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's fresh.
Yeah, yeah.
It's new.
Well, especially for, like, at least from my awareness, that sort of dipped out for a long, long time. So to hear stuff now, it's kind of like that, all right, I remember this.
Right.
It's kind of like hearing new hardcore bands that aren't like that sort of pop punk or,
like Sick of It All or something like that.
Yeah, hearing any like new hardcore that sounds like old school hardcore it's a reminder, because that sound changed, like punk rock changed so much in the 90s. I think in large part to Green Day and the popularity of Green Day. I think a lot of bands...
I agree completely, but you can go even further back with like the Descendants.
Yeah, they were kind of...
I mean, towards the end of their recording, I know they're still together, I think, but they started getting more into that pop punk. Not as greasy as Green Day did.
Yeah, I actually feel like the Descendants and like
Okay, maybe Descendants aren't a good example.
It had pop elements
maybe
to it.
Like No Effects.
But not like... Right, but those... If you listen to that stuff and then you listen to like Blink-182...
Right.
I mean, that stuff's got so
Obviously,
much more of a bubble gum style, right, to it. I mean,
yeah.
I think bands like the Descendants more had... It was punk rock with melody.
Right.
So that's sort of what... And it did have song structure, so it was sort of pop-y.
I take my statement back.
But you know what I mean? They weren't...
Yeah.
But if you listen to some of the stuff on Green Day's early albums, it definitely had the seed of what those later pop...
Without a doubt.
Punk, but it's almost like those later bands... And I mean, that's what those kids grew up on. So, I'm not... hating on it at all.
No hate.
I'm just saying that to me it seemed like they pulled more of the pop out of it than the punk. Their songs were way more poppy,
right,
than even Green Day stuff was at the time.
and it's funny because even back then, I remember we used to make fun of Green Day. Oh, Green Day. Oh,
after they broke, but initially they were on. I mean, when they first started, they were almost spoken of with the same kind of reverence that Fugazi is referred to with. That stick to your guns, no sellout. They used to play the Gilman in San Francisco for like $5 and sort of had that.
Well, they're from Berkeley, right?
Right, yeah, they're Bay Area guys for sure. And that was like Fugazi, when they would come through, they would always play Gilman because they were like $5 shows. And that was one of Ian MacKay's things was...
Oh, I wish I could have seen...
Not overcharging them. You know, you don't overcharge your fans. Just that whole sort of like DIY, no sellout mentality that to this day, as far as I know, he still is really like hard and fast sticking to that sort of ethos. And initially, maybe just because they were a Gilman Street band, Green Day was sort of referred to in the same way. And then when they got a major label deal, that really changed, and a lot of people, their fan base really turned on them hardcore, which was fine for them because their fan base was minuscule compared to the new fan base that they had by quote unquote selling out,
right,
and selling millions and millions of records.
I secretly then really liked them.
Sure.
I mean, I thought they had some good stuff. Yeah, it was poppy, but it was catchy. There was hooks. You know, they still had that kind of attitude, you know, and Billy Joel.
Yeah, Billy Joel. Wow, that's a crazy mashup.
Billy Joel Armstrong. Billy Joe.
Punk rock versions of Piano Man. That's awesome.
I mean, he's still an angry guy, or at least he was.
Billy Joel?
Billy Joe.
Oh, okay, because Billy Joel is too, from what I understand. I think.
He's very angry.
You know, that driving his car into trees and through people's yards.
I think you're thinking of who was it? Glenn Fry. Didn't he drive his car into a tree while naked?
I
think that's
know.
how he met his maker. Yeah, he was naked and he drove into a tree.
Recently. He died recently.
Yeah.
That's really.
And I could be wrong, but that's what I heard.
I thought it was illness related. I absolutely did.
No, I heard.
But I do know that Billy Joel drunkenly drove his car through somebody's yard into a tree and almost hit their house.
Well, that doesn't surprise me at all.
I think he's had run-ins with the law a couple of times over.
Well, what about George Jones? Like, who was so drunk, No-Show Jones, right? And they called him No-Show Jones because he would get fucked up and not show up to his concerts, you know, and he kind of had this, that was kind of like his whole deal, you know.
Who was the country artist who got a DUI because they were drunkenly driving a tractor to buy more beer? Who was that?
That was him.
Okay, as soon as you said
George Jones.
that was the first thing that popped
and it was
out of my head.
I think it was a lawnmower, like a riding lawnmower.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. What did I say, tractor? Yeah, no, I believe it was a riding lawnmower.
Yeah.
Like somebody took his keys or whatever, maybe his wife or whatever, and he's like, well, I'll show you. I have other modes of transportation.
Yep. Nothing's going to stop me. Yeah, no, and I like George. George is, I think he's dead now. Didn't he die? He died.
It beats me, man. It's in the last, especially the last 12 months, we've just lost, actually 13 months now. 14 if you, it started in
December.
Yeah, it started in December. Actually, it started with Scott Weiland.
When was that? November?
I think 15? That was early December.
Yeah.
And Lemmy passed away, and everybody forgot about Scott. And then in early January, David Bowie passed away, and that did not overshadow Lemmy's death. But those were these two icons that we had that were gone. And I remember noticing when the year anniversary of Lemmy's death occurred, and on that night, I don't know if you remember, but it was a Tuesday, and I just went home and drank whiskey and listened to Motorhead and Hawkwind.
I do remember that. We talked about that.
I had a celebratory evening of Lemmy.
You said you were going to get a drink, bourbon and Coke.
No, I got Jack that night.
Or Jack and Coke.
Yeah. Normally I'm a bourbon guy, but Jack and Hawkwind and Motorhead.
Yeah.
On the 1 year anniversary to honor a legend.
And I know that you're a Motorhead fan, but you're also a huge Bowie fan.
Yes.
And that was like probably harder for you.
That one wrecked me. And on the wasn't really substance fueled, but on the 1 year anniversary of his death, I went home and listened multiple times to his last album. Because I had it for
Black Star?
Yeah, I'd had it for a year and I couldn't bring myself to listen to it. It just, the thought of listening to it at that point bummed me out. And after a year, I was like, you know what? I need to hear what his last piece of work was. And it's been a year. So celebrate his legacy as well.
You got to burn that one for me. I don't have that one.
Yeah, no, you should download it.
I should.
And pay for it.
I should. I should, and I will.
And it's great. And it really...
Because we don't want any Napster tomfoolery going on around here.
No lawsuits from Metallica. Thank you. That which in our earlier foray into recording, that actually Metallica and Lars actually came up as a topic, and we will revisit that again one day, but it definitely needs to be addressed with Ross.
Yes,
because
he has stories.
Yes, he has personal interactions and opinions based on those interactions. Yeah. So that topic will have to wait until Ross is with us.
But what I was going to say is we did lose all those people. Who else we had? I have a story I want to go back to.
The list is so long I can't remember them all. Prince. I mean, as far as like legends go, that's definitely up there. You know, so many people. Like you said, Glenn Frey. Whether or not you're an Eagles fan, you can't really deny how relevant he is.
Yeah, and I think people just started saying they hate the Eagles because of the Big Lebowski movie where he's like, I fucking hate the Eagles, man. You know, and honestly, like, I'm not a huge fucking Eagles fan, but you have to admit, which I think you were about to say, is they've got hits from here to Badsville.
Oh man, that in the documentary, the Eagles documentary that they did, obviously the primary soundtrack is Eagles singles, and throughout the whole thing, you're just going, oh yeah, this one too. Oh, and that was a hit too. This one is what, geez, I forgot about. They have such a litany of songs that were huge. So yeah, I mean, you can't deny their talent and their success. Yeah, I mean,
and everybody has an asshole in the band, and we all know Glenn Frey was the asshole in the band. But whatever, who cares? I don't personally care if somebody's an asshole or not. I mean, I take that back. I kind of do care, because if you like an artist and you're like, yeah, I fucking love these guys, they're so great, I want to go see them, and then you hear something they did or something they said, and you're like, Jesus, what a prick.
Right.
You know, it kind of takes the air out. For me, it was like,
or if you meet somebody that you really look up to and they end up disappointing you, it can really stain the way you see their art from that point.
It does.
You know, I have never met him, but like if I met Henry Rollins and he was a jerk to me, it would bum me out. You know what I mean? It would really bum me out. And I've never heard any bad stories about him. Supposedly Henry Rollins is great. He's as far as like meeting your heroes, he's a good one to meet, because he's supposedly a really cool guy. And
he doesn't have any reason to not be a cool guy. I mean, he's an icon now, and he's getting to travel and do his thing. And I know he's kind of a solitary guy.
Sure. And, but I mean, you could see somebody who isn't really a big fan of crowds and social situations and stuff like that being a little off-put by being approached by their fans.
Right.
Even though they are their fans, and if they weren't, they wouldn't be approaching them in the first place. But you could see it. And I've never heard anything like that. I haven't either. There's other stories that I've heard about people that I really enjoy what they do, that I've heard both. You know, I've heard both sides about Glenn Danzig. Right. You know, I've heard good stories and bad stories.
Well, sure, as it goes, you know. I mean,
right.
I'm not an asshole.
And to be fair, I actually have met Glenn Danzig a few times, and he's never been anything but cool to me when I've interacted with him. The first time I met him, oddly enough, was between Samhain and Danzig, the band Danzig. Before the first Danzig album had come out, I went to a comic book convention in Atlanta with this guy Joel, and
he's a big comic book guy. Huge.
So much so that at the time he was actually working at a comic book store in New Jersey and was running their booth that they had set up in Atlanta. So when I met him, he was trying to sell me books. He was trying to sell me comics.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and wearing a shirt.
Was it a mesh shirt? It was a black mesh?
No, it was just a black. It was black. It was sleeveless, but it was a black sleeveless T-shirt with the album art that nobody had seen yet. You know,
the Danzig skull.
It's the Jersey Devil skull, but it had that sort of ornate upside down cross behind it that ended up becoming their logo. The Jersey Devil thing was was a Samhain logo, and he took that skull and put it had a cross behind it. It was kind of ornate on a t-shirt, and that was sort of their logo from that point on. But like I said, the album hadn't come out, so I was just like, oh shit. I ended up actually painting that on the sleeve of just old school punk rock. You paint your leather jacket, and I painted that logo on there before the album had come out. And so all my friends who were into the Misfits and Samhain were like, oh shit, did you come up with that by yourself? Nope.
Oh,
no, I
cool.
did not.
Right on.
I saw this on Glenn's t-shirt. Yeah.
It's funny. I did a similar sort of thing when I was a kid, and I was really into DRI, and I didn't have any DRI shirts or anything. And I would take a white t-shirt and I would spread it out, and I'd take a marker and I'd do big DRI logo on the front.
Oh yeah.
And,
or spray paint, do the spray paint thing.
Yeah. And then funny enough, years later down the road, I'm in a band with Felix from DRI, the drummer, in a country band.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's weird.
A country and western band, not just like a country band. We were doing old school country stuff. So, talk about running into your heroes. And I fucking love DRI. I still love DRI.
And to in that context too, like not even doing a punk rock or a crossover thrash metal thing, or to be doing country and western with that guy. That is weird.
The cool thing is whenever we would go in the studio, and he would warm up with, he wasn't doing paradiddles and shit. He was just like fucking straight on.
Just flexing his muscles.
Blasting.
Yeah.
And that dude is one of the fastest fucking drummers I know.
And pretty heavy-handed.
He's heavy-handed.
He ain't Bonham, but he ain't light.
He's tight, and he is a tight player, and just so underrated for a drummer, I think. But getting to just jam out with him was fucking super cool. But I want to go back real quick. We were talking about all the people that are dead. Do we need to take a break pretty soon? Maybe.
Yeah, let's take a little break and see if we can change the vibe a little bit.
All right, we'll be back.
But that we'll come back to what you were saying.
We'll come back to my story
for sure. All right, so be right back. And we're back.
And we're back.
All right, so you were in the middle of a story about your time in Texas. And
actually,
we were talking about celebrity deaths.
Right, we were talking about celebrity deaths, and it reminded me of the time when, that one time when Waylon died.
Oh, yeah, that one time. That's...
No, but actually, I had moved out of Texas, and I had moved to Seattle. We were just talking about Seattle on the break.
Yeah.
I moved to Seattle for like a year, and then I came back. I didn't come back. I came to California because my folks were here, and my best buddy was here. So I drive down into San Francisco to hang out with him for like a week. And the night I got into town, or the day I got into town, was the day the Waylon died.
Okay.
So we immediately went to, and obviously...
did you hear about it on your drive down on the radio or anything? Or was it one of those things where you got here and,
I think
wow,
what
man,
happened
did
was,
you hear that?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It's like my buddy's like, dude, Waylon died today. I'm like, oh, shit. So what we did, and he's from, my buddy who worked, lived in San Francisco is from Texas too. We grew up together.
Right.
We've got history, like serious history together. And he and his wife moved to San Francisco way back in the 90s and got out of Texas. So I drive into San Francisco. It's like 2 p.m. He takes me immediately to this Irish pub in North Beach called O'Reilly's. It was O'Reilly's pub. And I don't think it's there anymore. But this is
I think it's an automotive parts store now.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, moving forward. So we go to the pub. We immediately just start drinking, and we're hanging with all these Irish and British and Scottish people, because it's a legit.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's a legit pub, right?
Yeah, San Francisco has all these demographics, but this was the particular demographic that I was getting fucked up with,
right?
So we're drinking all.
I'm
day.
assuming not super familiar with Waylon Jennings' catalog.
You're not?
No, the Brits and
probably
Irish,
not.
the people you were hanging out with probably weren't geared like huge country music, country and western music.
Not super hip to Waylon, super hip to the Pogues.
Oh, sure, sure.
And Shane MacGowan, and so there were lots of conversations, obviously, about that stuff.
And accordions and flutes.
Accordions and flutes and various Irish knick-knack.
The Dropkick Murphys.
Yes.
That's...
What are those called? Pan flutes or something that they play? I don't know. Anyway, so we're drinking all day. Try to make a long story short.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay, thanks.
Too late. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. That's...
We're drinking, and it's just very comfortable for me. I'm coming out of a really bad place, right?
Yeah. Because when you came down, you were kind of in a bad place. That's why you were coming down.
That's why I was coming down. So that was actually
driving away from a bummer, and then you arrived to a bummer.
I arrived to very welcoming old friends and great times.
And bad news.
And bad news. So what do? You drink.
And drink.
And drink.
And drink.
So that's what we did. We just drank from 2 p.m. until 2 that night. Along the way, between singing Irish shanty sea songs on the sidewalk to bypassers, we run into none other than Lily Tomlin in the pub, and a friend.
That's weird.
A friend, Ann Richards, who was the governor of Texas, a very liberal governor of Texas. She was awesome. Everybody loved Ann Richards. She was the shit. So anyway, it's Ann Richards and Lily Tomlin.
Together?
Oh,
okay. So they're chilling.
I think they're both gay, or one's passed now and died.
Oh, okay.
But Lily Tomlin, I think they're both lesbians.
I believe so. I think that came.
But they were hanging.
Later.
They probably went to see a show or something. Anyway, so we were all just like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And we talked to him and hung out with him. And we're all like, "Oh, I voted for you," and up to Ann and all this shit.
And also, I like that thing you used to do with the giant chair. And your phone operator thing was great.
Right.
This is probably so lost on so many people that don't remember Lily Tomlin's early career.
Exactly.
But 9 to 5, though. Everybody knows that.
Working 9
Jane Fonda,
to 5.
Dolly Parton, and Lily Tomlin. And Dabney Coleman.
And Dabney Coleman.
Jane. Who had an amazing
Fonda.
Mustache. Yeah, that was the first name I said.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Jane Fonda, Dolly Parton, Lily Tomlin, and Dabney Awesome Mustache Coleman.
I love Dabney Coleman.
Yeah,
he was great.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a good villain.
He played an amazing asshole.
Yeah.
Like, wow, him and, who was the guy who played, I can't think of the actor's name right now. The guy who was the dad in Poltergeist. He was in a show called Coach.
Yes. I know exactly.
I could look it up right now.
No, I know. Yeah. You do that and I'll continue the story.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're drinking. My buddy takes off and leaves me in this pub. I've never been to San Francisco. I don't know the area. Completely just disoriented and hammered. So at 2 a.m.
This is when you'd never really spent any time in California before?
No, well, not like
nothing
this.
significant.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I'm pissed drunk, and
as you do,
I finally am like, okay, I need to lay down. So
much like the evening of the High on Fire show, where you just needed to.
I just need to lay down. So I go out into the street looking for a ditch to lie in, because I shit you not, I was just looking to lay in a ditch for a few minutes so I could gather myself together, right?
That's what ditches are there for.
There's no ditches in North Beach. It's just concrete and people and curbs and stuff, and it's not comfortable.
You can always lay in a curb, though.
So anyway, I get a taxi. I puke in the taxi.
Nice.
The taxi cab driver takes all my money, which is probably about
cleaning costs. I mean,
$300. He took about $300 off me. So I don't know if that's robbery or not, but I was missing $300 after that cab ride. Anyway,
is that robbery or is that just fair's fair? I mean, you did mess up his seat.
It's true. I puked all over it. It was bad.
Craig T. Nelson.
Craig T. Nelson.
Also an amazing asshole.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever watch Coach, boy, did he play a dick.
Yeah.
So
I always liked him.
Yeah, he's great. And
Poltergeist. He was in Poltergeist.
Is that?
Did we say that?
Yes. Oh, yes. That's. I didn't even bother to look up Coach, because the litany of things I would have to go through. But when you look up Poltergeist cast, you can find them easy. But great asshole and coach. But in Poltergeist, not only does the serious dramatic part, because it is a horror movie, but he's charming. There's funny moments in that movie. There's laughs in Poltergeist. I mean,
sure.
What a great. I never
80s.
saw this.
80s
I did
movies,
not see the remake.
Neither did I.
And maybe I will at some point. But man, the original, what a great film! And he was so cool in that, like such a, because he was the funny dad and the caring dad, and you really believed it that he
definitely has that animated sort of weird father figure that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's the scenes when he's playing with the kids and you buy it, you know, that he's, you know, he's the caring father or whatever. And then later on, when he sort of accepts that this serious, terrifying situation is going on, you kind of feel that he's really just deadly afraid for the safety of his children and his wife. He did a great job in that. It's a great movie. The sequel, Poltergeist 2, was also fantastic.
I never saw Poltergeist 2.
Wow, you should. That's the one with Kane, the creepy old man that had that. He sort of dressed like an Amish character.
Did they have
had the little almost skeletal look to him?
Did they still have the little old lady, the little short plump lady who had the really high pitched voice?
I don't think.
You know,
Carol Ann, come into the line.
Yes.
I don't think she was in that, but I can't 100% remember. I couldn't speak to it with. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I've seen the first one, you know, way too many times, and it's a great movie. That probably, I don't know if it would hold up now. I don't know if you were little and you saw it, if you could relate to it. You definitely couldn't relate to.
Well, it's a cult classic, you know, and a lot of cult classics, people watch them. They're like, "What is this B movie shit?"
Right, like when you watch the one of the sequels to Patriot Games. God, I want to say, was Ben Affleck in it or whatever? But it was sort of a prequel to the Harrison Ford movies. But he's running around with like a Palm Pilot or a cell phone or something like that. Something that...
A BlackBerry.
That obviously Harrison Ford didn't have in the original movies. Right. And it seems like it
was Ben Affleck, I think.
And it destroys the timeline. Because you're like, well, how come you didn't have these in the other couple of movies or whatever? You know, and having the station sign off in Poltergeist. That makes no sense to somebody who grew up with cable,
right? Where TV
never goes off,
right?
You know, there's never the Star Spangled Banner and then static for 4 hours,
exactly.
You know, that's the way things used to be.
Exactly. We're turning shit off now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go to bed. You have to work tomorrow. There's a factory job with your name on it, asshole. Go to sleep.
You got to go to work at the gas station tomorrow.
Right, and then cable, you know, segue into internet, which is also always on. So that's an easy way to look at the clock and go, shit, how is it 4 a.m? Fuck, I have to go to work. You know, these wormholes are real time suck.
You don't stay up till 4 a.m, do you?
Not anymore. But I have done, you know, for sure have done, like where you sort of get caught up in researching something or looking into something and you look up and can't believe how late it is.
Yeah, that's definitely happened. 4 a.m. for, it's been years and years and years.
Really?
Yeah.
Now weekends, I'll ignore the clock for sure. But for some reason, I still end up, like, even, regardless of what time I go to sleep, I end up waking up around the same time.
Early? What? Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was a weird noise.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know, but it sounded awesome. It almost sounded like music.
It sounded like a whale.
See, it sounded like arpeggios to me. That was weird.
That was strange.
But it was cool. I don't know if the mics picked it up in a strange way. I hope it did.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Waylon.
Yeah.
Back to Waylon.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm trashed. I finally make it back to my buddy's place. How I got there, I don't know. They let me in.
You literally don't remember how you got there?
No. I mean, the taxi cab drove me there, but I don't even know how I remember his...
Oh, yeah, and that's when he stole your money.
Exactly. So I make it in. I'm like, okay, I need to get in the shower. So I barf a lot. And I get in the shower and barf some more. And then I get out of the shower and I'm completely naked.
Real quick pause. Sorry for any weird background noise. That was me trying to silently and gingerly get a beer and not succeeding at all. So anyway.
I tried to get in bed naked with my buddy and his wife.
That's the beer.
Oh,
good. That's comfortable.
It was...
Especially the next day.
Yeah, and with no intention of anything, just wanting to lie down.
As far as you remember.
As far as I remember. So,
wow, there's that
noise.
There's that weird noise again.
I hope the mics are picking that up.
It almost sounds like it's
I know what it is. It's the
garage door next door. But it really did sound like Steve Vai noodling in a guitar somewhere off in the distance.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, to wrap the
so how early was it the next day that your friend kicked you out?
No, he didn't kick me out.
Oh, okay. So he was open to it.
They told me, okay, come on.
Hey, man, the more the merrier, man. Like, it's all good.
He said, come on, buddy.
It is San Francisco, man. Right. We fly loose and wild here. We can do this.
Let your freak flag fly, man. No, he put me on the couch and where I stayed for 2 days. It took me 2 days.
Wow.
To get back on my feet. It really, really, really did some damage. I've never been that far gone before.
I don't know if I've ever had anything that took me that long to recover. And I've dived in deep before, but 2 days, wow.
It was bad, but that was my Waylon story. We were celebrating Waylon. You know, we've celebrated Waylon and his death, and it was just a very memorable experiences. I'll never forget it.
Oh yeah,
definitely. It's hard to convey like this, but
yeah,
you know, it was truly a memorable experience.
Yeah, that when David Bowie died, that it hit me like a freight train. The oldest memory I have in my life, not just of music or of artists or being a fan or anything, but the first memory that I can remember, I had to be like 3 or 4, and I was in the dark with my father, and this is also one of the only memories I have of my dad when I was a kid. And we were watching TV on, like, you know, some little black and white deal with an antenna, and it was David Bowie performing changes during the Ziggy Stardust tour. I don't know what it was on or why it was broadcasting. Obviously, I was a kid, but the first thing I can remember in my life was watching David Bowie with my dad.
That's heavy.
You know, so and I've been a fan of Bowie, you know, I mean, I can't really say since then because 3-year-olds aren't really music fans or whatever, but Bowie's been around me my whole life. And ever since I've been into music, I've liked David Bowie and later loved David Bowie, and then later been heavily influenced by Bowie. So Bowie's been with me my whole life. My father, I can't even say that about him. So I've had David Bowie in my life more than my dad. So when David Bowie passed away, it hit me hard.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but it's kind of embarrassing to say I cried.
Yeah. Well, I mean, isn't that heavy how somebody you don't even know personally,
but somebody who affected my life,
you know,
for years. And the thing is too, as he got older, there's a couple of people, you know, like, it's going to be weird because it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Eventually, Mick Jagger is going to die. Keith Richards is going to die.
What?
I mean, we're all going to, well, maybe not Keith Richards. He might be immortal.
He'll pull through.
But you know, Paul McCartney's going to pass away.
Yeah.
I don't think Ringo Starr's ever actually been alive, so I don't think he's going to die. I think he might just be a figment of all of our imaginations. Yeah. But Paul's going to go, and Mick's going to go. Like I said, Keith may dodge that bullet and live forever. But there's a few people that I'm like, man, he's getting up there. Ozzy is another example.
Yeah.
Like, that one's going to fuck with me, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how bad is it going to hit me when David Bowie dies? And unfortunately, last year, I got the answer to that question, and it fucked with me hard. To the point, like I said, I couldn't listen to, and you know what a big fan I am.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really listen to a whole lot of Bowie for the last year because of that. It really, really did.
That's honest, man. That's honest.
You know.
I feel it.
I mean, he was like I sort of viewed him as this sort of artistic father figure.
Well, sure. I think probably a lot of people did.
Definitely. And I mean, after, you know, a year of pause, I can look at it and go, well, at least I was here now then. You
Which-
know what I mean?
which was
I got
was
to
gonna
be
say.
here for that.
Right.
You know,
I was just going to say, like, if you look back on the time from the beginning of the world, to our little blip on the map.
Yeah, there was on the universal timeline, there was an eye blink that David Bowie was in existence, and I was lucky enough to be in that same blink of an eye.
And not only David Bowie, but
a litany of artists that, all these people that were sad to see them go, at least we got to be here when they were here.
a time that will never ever repeat itself. There will never ever be a time like that. If it's all relative, like if you said like Bach or Beethoven or any of those old ass composer guys.
That were the punk rockers of their generation.
Right. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe Beethoven died.
Right. Yeah. Seriously. But of course it took them a month to find out because somebody had to, ride on a horse with a letter or whatever. But, okay, one of the guys that, like I said, this is probably going to be the next big one that really messes with me is Ozzy. And, they just played their last show.
Yeah,
Black Sabbath just played their last gig. That was it was the end tour, but they literally played the end show.
Yeah,
and they did it. Man, what a cool way to go out!
I think they ended with Paranoid.
They ended in Birmingham too, which is
really?
where that's their hometown.
Yeah.
Man, they ended where they started. What a nice envelope,
Circle.
man!
Yep.
Such a perfect thing, and
it's too bad Bill Ward wasn't there.
yeah, and I saw something that an interview or a little quote from an interview.
Bill Ward is the original Sabbath
drummer. Yeah, the original drummer was not the guy from Rage Against the Machine, believe it or not. But Tony Iommi even said, like, I don't know why Bill Ward hasn't been playing with us. There was no animosity or anything like that. It really was just agents and managers arguing about shit. It was.
I thought maybe he was a little curmudgeonly. It's hard to say. We have no way to truly know, but he probably felt, just kind of dissed or something.
Well, I think it kind of goes back to the same thing that. Have you seen Beware of Mr. Baker?
I have.
You have.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Ginger Baker, drummer for Cream.
For Cream, right. And you hear in that when they break down the way royalties go and songwriting credits go, that you get paid for the lyrics and you get paid for the melody. But beyond that, that's
it.
That's all the royalty thing covers. So drummers almost never get, unless it's a
unless they have a songwriting credit.
Right. And that's got to be mutually agreed upon by the band.
Right.
Like the Doors was like that, where it's like 4-way split. Everything's even. If I get credit, you get credit, blah, blah, blah. But the way the music industry works, it's not like that at all. And so oftentimes drummers get the ass end of the money train. And how
do you tell if a drummer's riser is level?
I don't know.
The drool comes out both sides of his mouth.
Ah.
Sorry.
That's mean. But so, I think probably a big part of it came down to the fact that financially, Bill Ward probably wasn't getting a whole lot of... Jack Bruce and Cream got a lot of the credits because he wrote the melodies and whatnot. And so I'm assuming that Geezer Butler probably had a similar deal because he was and he wrote a lot of the lyrics too, if not... he wrote the lion's share of the lyrics.
But what is Bill going to do? Like, he's like, well, I got this other band. Don't want to be,
right,
dude, you were in
what
Black Sabbath.
Kind of what else are you doing type of thing. But I think at a certain point, there's this sort of front ahead of you of managers and agents that are giving you advice. And
always,
in your entire career, you've sort of rode on that advice. So you're going to keep doing that. And in my opinion, was it bad advice? Probably. How much money did he make doing whatever while they were on tour making more money?
You always hate to see, we relate bands kind of as family, so you really hate to see, your family breaking up. Like,
right.
Oh man, fucking Newstead left the band, man, what the fuck?
Or, or like a real extreme example is, as far as people who you sort of identify as the personality of that band is Bon Jovi. When they kicked Richie Sambora out. It's like,
Did that happen?
yeah.
I don't know shit about Bon
Jovi. And I'm sure it all came down to finance, where it's like,
wasn't he like the shit hot guitar player guy though?
Yes, it was the Steve Perry or Steven Tyler, not Steve Perry, that's Journey. I was going to say Steve Tyler and Joe Perry thing, where those are the two guys. Mick and Keith. It's the faces of the band. It was John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, and you kind of can't imagine. Everybody else seems almost like they could be shuffled out and replaced without much notice, but you don't lose one of the main guys. And yeah, they booted him.
Why did they boot him?
Okay, allegedly. I can't even say that they booted him. Maybe he quit. Maybe he walked away. But regardless, Bon Jovi exists as an entity without Richie Sambora as the guitar player. And it's over, from what I know, it's over money. It's over. If I don't pay this guy,
no, I'm Bon Jovi. I get all the money.
Right, my name. You'll notice the V and the H on Van Halen.
Right.
That's why I can make my son the bass player and fuck Michael Anthony, because
Michael Anthony was probably just like, fuck this. You know what? Dude, I did my thing.
From what I understand, no, they kicked him out.
Did they?
Yeah. You know why?
No.
Because he was cool with Sammy Hagar.
Oh, really?
How fucked up is that?
Did you know that my wife's...
Dude, he's literally one of those guys who... He's a party dude. He just wanted to... I want to go on tour. I want to play my bass. I want to drink my Jack.
Party band.
That's what I want. That's where I'm at my best and I'm at my happiest. And you guys aren't in the studio and you're not going on tour. You don't... The singers... The second singers are... He's gone. You're not 100%.
Remember when they got Gary Sharon?
Oh, yeah, for one album. That's, yeah.
I was just like, really? I mean, the guy can sing, no doubt, but I mean, you're messing with the DNA there. You know what I mean?
But
like, you cannot change that DNA.
But they had to try, because they did change the DNA before, and they were very successful with it. When Sammy Hagar came on board, everybody was just like, come on. And that was like probably their biggest.
No, they were huge.
Besides 1 and 2. All the Sammy Hagar stuff was probably more successful than even like Diver Down,
Women and Children First.
Yeah. I would say like, was it 5150? Was that?
I think that was
the first Sammy Hagar one, right?
That's the one with the kid smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, and dude, songs on soundtracks and commercials, and it's huge. So they had reinvented the wheel already.
They stayed in the game.
So they definitely had to, when Sammy Hagar left or was kicked out, or I don't know how that went down, but they definitely had to at least give it a shot and try throwing another guy in there. Didn't necessarily work out, or whatever. But so they're in this weird in-between place where Sammy's out. We're not 100% sure if Dave's back in. And
they should have got Rob Halford.
And if Dave is back in, is it going to work? How long is it going to last? And so Michael Anthony is itching to play shows, and Sammy Hagar comes at him, because they were always fine, and goes, yeah, man, I got my Eddie Van Halen. What is it? I think Steve Vai or Joe Satriani. One of them is in Chickenfoot with Sammy Hagar.
Yeah. Which one is it? You're right. I think it's Steve Vai.
I think so too. Yeah. It's Chad Smith, who was the longtime drummer from the Chili Peppers, might still be, as far as I know. Sammy Hagar. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's Steve Vai. I'm pretty sure it's Steve Vai.
I'm pretty sure it is too.
And they needed a bass player, and they wanted to play. And hey, Mike, you wanna, you guys aren't doing anything over there. You want to jam with us?
So he's in Chickenfoot.
He starts playing with Chickenfoot, and nope, you got to pick your team. You want to go hang with Sammy? Well, fine. Fuck you, because my son Wolfgang can play bass too. And they replaced him. I heard this might not be true. And I'm like, if it is true, gross. So gross that I have a problem even believing that it's true. That they wanted to go back and superimpose Wolfgang onto all the old take Michael Anthony out of all the old album art and put that. Like I said, I don't know that's true.
That's got to be bullshit.
Doesn't it? Because
it's got to be.
And dude, if it's not bullshit, I'm just going on record. fucking gross.
Yeah.
That is so gross.
I mean, even if you go through, I know you go through you're not on Facebook, but that's pretty much the only one I use. You go through your Facebook feed and it's a constant stream of bullshit. I mean, from the right, from the left, and I know we're not talking politics, but I'm just saying, like, you get shit in there that you know for a fucking fact is not true. It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's somebody clickbait. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Sorry, didn't mean to get you off track.
No, it's definitely hard to tell what to listen to and what to believe and what's real and what's not, because at this stage in the game, you really can just put anything out there, and there's at least a percentage of people who are going to just accept it as fact, or
sensationalism,
or not really read beyond the headline or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's definitely, I guess, a downside of the information age we live in.
Right. I think the saving grace in that is like, you speak to a lot of people, and I think there's legitimately a lot of people like you and I, the kind of people that have the same sort of thought process and the way they view things. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people like that. Yeah, we live on the California coast. That's why that is mostly, is because people are kind of like more like, yeah, you know, they're either super left leaning or.
Yeah. But you also got to factor in the fact that we live in an era and an area where C is average. Which means you can be wrong 25% of the time, and that's fine.
That's true.
You pass.
That's true.
We're not.
That is true.
In a place where anything less than an A is unacceptable. If you go to a mechanic and, you know, hey, I need you to fix my car, and when you go pick it up, hey, is it fixed? Well, it's fixed about 75%. Are you going to take that? No, dude, you can't leave it 25% fucked up, and that's fine. Right. But yet, as far as intelligence and education, 25% wrong's cool.
Right.
You can move along to the next level, sir.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's, you know what I mean? So how did we get
here? How are we talking about this right now?
Is it real that I think there's a lot of smart people out there that think of all the information we have access to via the internet.
I think that's what it is. I think the whole thing is internet driven, because
but you have access to all that information, and what percentage of the internet traffic is just porn? I mean, you know what I mean?
70.
It's like, wow, I could route myself to the Library of Congress and learn about American history and everything that's ever been written. I could do physics research, I'd rather just go to Pornhub.
That was Zappa's whole idea. He's like, get people out of school. They're not being fucking taught anything. You know what I mean? During
that era, they weren't being taught as much as they were being trained.
Right.
It wasn't as much about the knowledge as it was about the schedule.
Right.
Show up on time, take your breaks in between classes
be a good
on
American.
Time, go on your lunch break on time, work your shift until the whistle blows and go home.
Yep.
You know, school was like, the way the school system was set up back then was definitely factory training.
Right.
You know, during the industrial age.
Right.
Had way less to do with intelligence as it did to do with, or education as it did to do with regimen.
Right. And I think the weird caveat to that is, do you want to be like seriously educated and gain really real knowledge, or do you want to go be educated and come out looking like everybody else does with the same degree, the same sort of mindset? Like, you know, this is what they stamped in my head, so I guess this is what I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or this is what I decided I wanted to be 4 years ago.
Right.
Because I had to declare. And 4 years later, I'm not exactly the same person, but I kind of stuffed myself into this lane, so I guess I'm stuck here.
Exactly.
You know? And I paid all this money to be in this lane, so I'm certainly not going to accept a path outside of this lane. So you've got guys that got a degree in XYZ, and rather than taking a job that they can get making X amount of money, they spend a lot of this money or so much money to be in lane XYZ that they'd rather just live in their parents' basement until a job in XYZ opens up. You know.
It's true.
Yeah. And you know, there's trends in economics always, so you end up with this flood of people chasing the same ring.
Too many nurses. Too many whatever.
In the 80s, it was too many lawyers.
Yeah.
Everybody, doctor or lawyer, that's where you make all the money. So you had all these people graduating with law degrees, and there weren't enough cases, and such was born the ambulance chaser. Oh, if the cases aren't there, we'll make them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hey, did you, that car almost hit you. You might be traumatized from that. We should probably sue that person, get their license plate. Or hanging out outside of ERs. Why is that person being admitted? There might be a case in there. I need to go talk to them. And then enter the 90s and the early 2000s, and it's software engineers and computer programmers, and now everybody's getting out of school with that degree.
Yep.
So an avenue opens up, and then the market's suddenly flooded. It's not.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what happens.
And the bottom line is, dude, I hate to say it, but actually I don't hate to say it at all. It's a dumb caveat. Not everybody needs to go to fucking college.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I'm totally down with the trades.
Yeah, vocational education, man.
The trades are good.
Somebody's got to fucking unclog your toilet.
Yeah.
The world needs plumbers. The world needs ditch diggers too, Danny. To quote Ted Knight in Caddyshack.
Well, I didn't go to college.
Oh, me either. Well, I have done, but I didn't graduate. I don't have a degree.
Yeah. I didn't go, and I've had a zillion jobs. A zillion. Like literally whatever amount of zeros makes a zillion, that's how many I've had. I've literally done everything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no degree that you need for warehouse work. I don't think you need there's no degree in warehouse. But if I had gone to college, I am doing warehouse work now, and I would have been thousands and thousands of dollars in debt for no reason.
Yeah. And the thing is like, if you're a smart person, or if you learn at any kind of normal rate, if you have a little sense of purpose, like you can achieve fucking anything.
Well, it just depends on what you want to do. There are careers where if you want to be a physicist or an astrophysicist or in any of the science, any of the STEM programs, probably going to want to go to college. That being said, that isn't everybody.
Right.
And there's a lot of jobs that people might be more suitable for or have the ability to do where not everybody can be an astrophysicist.
Well,
Sorry,
see,
it's not an even playing field.
It's true.
There are smart people. There are fucking dumb people, and there's a broad spectrum in between. And so depending on where you fit on that spectrum, certain jobs, you can be anything if you try, and no, not necessarily. You cannot necessarily be anything if you're an idiot.
That's true. If you're an idiot,
idiots are out there, man. It's a fact of life, and
Absolutely.
God love them. God bless idiots.
Fuck idiots.
The world needs ditch diggers too, Danny.
Yeah, jeez.
I'm talking about not idiots based on their opinions or their viewpoints or whatever. I'm talking about people who literally have less ability to learn than some other people. There are people who are smart, really smart, and there are people who are really not smart.
But doesn't that just mean that it comes down to people who are uneducated? They're ignorant.
Not necessarily, man. There are some people who you could sit them in a class and they could really want to learn and they could really pay attention to what you're trying to teach them, and they just might not get it. They might not have the mental acuity to process the information you're feeding them. And
I think I was that guy.
And that's fine, man. that's everybody doesn't need to be a genius. That's just not real. There's fast lines and slow lines.
That's true. And the thing is like there is always, I think, on the back of every person in the world, there's this expectation of something. Like you need to be something.
The level playing field is a myth. The world is not a level playing field.
Absolutely not.
There are people who are suited to things that are valued at given times more than other people. Those variables are always going to fluctuate and change, but it's always there. Not everybody can be everything anytime. And good. Because then we'd all have... You can't have a world full of kings, man.
Thank you, Carl Jung. No, I'm kidding. That was good.
It's a Jungian thing, sir. You wouldn't understand.
It's a Jungian thing. No, I completely agree, man. it really is about that perspective.
Right. And good, because if everybody, you can't have a world full of Yngwie Malmsteens. Imagine how boring music would be if everybody was a classically trained guitar virtuoso. You wouldn't have the Stooges, you wouldn't have the Sex Pistols, because everybody was so friggin' talented that nobody would want to listen to anything anymore. Because all the music would essentially sound the same. Yeah. You have different levels.
Like Austin in the 90s, everybody played Stevie Ray Vaughan. Dude, you get so fucking sick of it.
Well, and a lot of it is down to, it's not even down to necessarily technical ability, but it's what you choose to do with that. Yeah. So there's people who aren't maybe as technically savvy who write amazing music because they know their lane. They know what to do with what they can do. Not everybody's got 7-inch fingers like Jimi Hendrix and can run up and down the neck and happen to be left-handed, and that's going to change your sound. And
I think the key to, you can be like a proficient musician, you can be like a prodigy musician, and then there's the kind of musician who most of the musicians I know are like this. They push themselves in a way that they may not have the chops. You know what I mean? They may not be able to play virtuosos or whatever, but they play so well in the realm that they know. And then they start to innovate, and then they just become better and better and better. And pretty soon, and they're the kind of players that when you play with them, they're playing to the song. They're not just playing to hear themselves play.
You play to your strengths.
Right.
The perfect example, the Ramones. Listen to those are pretty much all bar chords. The thing the strong point they had with their guitar was Johnny Ramone was the guitar player. He could play really fast downstrokes. Yeah. He wasn't, it was all downstrokes, and his right hand was really fast there. His fingers aren't going all over the place. There's no solos. It's not virtuoso guitar, but he knew that he had that strong right hand, and that's what he did. He played really hard and really fast with that right hand. The chord changes aren't dramatic, but the speed of his right hand made their sound. He knew what his strengths were, and he played to his strengths.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's that to me is always
that's kind of what I was saying about just know your fucking lane, man. Know your lane and embrace it, and take what your strengths can be.
But you also need to put feelers out, so you don't stagnate, because you need to be able to grow.
Right. Oh yeah, for sure. But I think that's more of an input thing than an output.
Right. Absolutely.
And you can, when you do take in that new input, you can point your strengths in that direction. Because you still, like I said, you still got to know who you are, so you can see how you can guide the area that you really excel in that direction based on the input you've gotten.
Right.
You know what and that doesn't just apply to music, that applies to everything.
Absolutely. God, we're so smart. I think we got it all figured out right here.
If we can just get to the point where we're just running the world and everybody will smarten up and listen to us, I think we got this whole thing figured out.
If you guys could just quit being stupid and...
hey, no more dumb, all right?
Just grow the fuck up.
Don't be CBA, okay? Can we do that from now on?
What?
No
CBA?
More CBA.
What's CBA?
No more C students. Let's all be A students.
Gotcha. Sorry.
CBA, ABC,
ABC.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
As simple as do re mi.
Do re mi.
ABC. 1, 2, 3. Baby, you and me, girl.
I love
Jackson 5.
I love that album, man. That was a great album.
This is my second concert. I told you that before. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. First one was I think we talked about it on
Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5?
Yes.
No way.
Motherfucker, I did.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's super cool.
That was another of awesome mom's super contributions.
I got to see Cliff Burton.
Ah, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I saw Newstead twice, but I've only seen Metallica twice. I saw them explode. Dude, was that the
Justice for All tour? Oh, Justice. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw him on the Black the black. I saw them in '86, and I saw them in
Okay, that's
92,
when they went monolithic.
93.
That's when they were, went to an entirely next level. But when the one video came out and they got played
the
on
one as in one.
One, the
Yes.
song One.
Yes.
When that video came out, their audience expanded gigantically because all of a sudden they were on MTV.
Yeah, and do you remember the
so it was
whole
a much
thing?
less underground thing.
Do you remember they were like, I don't even know if this is true or not, but they were like, I will never fucking do a video.
Cliff. Well, during the Cliff days, they had that sort of
mentality.
no sellout type thing where they would never do a fuck MTV and they're never going to do a music video. And then Cliff died. Justice for All came out. They put out a music video. But dude, that just comes down to they just saw which direction things were heading in, and
I think that whole
adapted.
thing was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like,
it was
do a
absolutely.
fucking video. Who cares?
But the thing is, once they did do it, and it turns out they made the right choice.
Well, because it broadened their base by tenfold.
Yeah, and who knows if they'd even still be around and together now if they hadn't done that and become so big. But the one video came out on the Injustice for All tour. That song's off Injustice for All.
Last song side too.
So I saw them at this place in Atlanta called the Center Stage, which is like a small theater. It's not an arena or by any stretch, but it's not a bar. And it's not really a club. It's theater. A couple. There's a balcony level and whatever. But it was definitely like people could get right up to the stage. You were right by the band, so it was a small venue to see Metallica in.
And Justice
on that
tour, that was when
on the same tour that video came out, and I saw them on the second leg of the tour in a fucking arena that was, a massive arena that the Cult was opening for them.
I remember that tour,
and they were I watched most of it on a screen above their heads,
right.
And there were these little tiny dots on the stage,
the Jumbotron,
however many hundreds of feet away.
Yeah.
So I saw them on both legs of that tour and literally saw them go from like a touring gigging band to mega fucking rock stars. It was crazy.
Yeah, they went big.
Yeah. And it happened within the span of a few months. I quit my job over that. That was
over Metallica?
Yeah. Which is weird because I'm not even the hugest Metallica fan. I was 16, I think, and had been primarily making money selling weed, and somehow like a friend of mine worked at Subway, and I think I was just trying to kind of keep a low profile because how do you always have cash? You know what I mean? When you don't wake up till noon, you're fucked up all the time, and you know what I mean? Like what are you doing? So I think I was trying to just kind of keep a low profile. So I told my friend Steve, I was like, hey man, get me a job at your place. And it was my first day working for Subway. And a few friends of ours came in because they knew we were working and were like, hey, we're going to the Metallica show. And I think it was this dude, TJ, was like, I have an extra ticket, man. If you want to go, I'll give you the ticket. God. And I looked at Steve, and he was like, get the fuck out of here, man. Fuck this job. And he was the manager. And he was like, fuck this job. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh,
and
cool.
I worked there for like maybe 5 hours. And went and saw Metallica instead.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
That's great.
So yeah, I actually quit a job to see Metallica.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, man. Fuck Subway.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Metallica.
Because you know why? You got that memory forever now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to remember making a fucking foot long.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all. Although I do have a memory from those few hours that stuck with me forever.
Did you cut your finger?
No. Somebody walked in. The manager was my friend Steve. His girlfriend also worked there, and she was working there at the time. And some dude came in and was being a complete fuckhead to her. Like, just being rude. Some fucking suit and tie guy, dickhead, who was being really condescending and rude to her. And when she sent back the ticket for his order, it had AHS written on it across the top. And Steve explained to me that stood for asshole special. So when he made his sandwich, the last condiment that got placed on that was a giant alien-looking loogie stretched across the top of it. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And he slapped the bread topping on there, wrapped it up, and sent it on its way.
Man.
Yeah, and so anybody who thinks that that shit doesn't happen, be polite to people who handle your food. If not, you're taking yourself in your own hands, because people do that shit. YouTube has taught us a lot about that, since we've seen some videos about what really goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, like guys busting nuts in hamburgers and shit.
Tip your fucking waitresses. Be polite to servers. Anybody who's handling your food, you be nice.
Be nice anyway.
Yeah, because you know what? At a certain point, they're going to be out of your range of sight. And that's when the hell's going to start. So be polite, people. From my lengthy career at Subway, there was a memory that lasted a lifetime, as well as the memories that have lasted from that Metallica show.
That's what's up.
It's so weird. I don't really consider myself to be a gigantic Metallica fan. I like them a lot. I've definitely gone in and out through phases with them. But it's bizarre how often Metallica comes up when we talk. That you would think I was.
They're like one of the quintessential bands, man.
Yeah, but we don't talk about the Sex Pistols all the time, and they're one of the Stooges.
Yeah,
but for some reason, Metallica just is always coming up.
Like if you put together all those bands that influenced you at some point in your life, they're a big band in your head.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
And they have influenced so many different, and we're influenced by so many artists that we like. Like
if it wasn't for Sabbath and Motorhead, there wouldn't be a Metallica.
But there's also, if there wasn't the Misfits, there wouldn't be. I mean, because that was a big influence on Kurt. You know, it's not only the bands they have gone on to influence, but the bands that influence them. They are a bizarre middle ground to where...
Man, that first album was so fucking good. Dude, I fucking love that album.
But Puppets is like, to me, that's kind of an apex.
Yeah.
You know, where because the influences from Dave Mustaine had kind of been surpassed by Kurt.
They found their own.
They found the voice of that particular quartet by that time. Yeah. It wasn't being influenced by old material. And later, obviously, because Cliff had passed away, their sound changed again.
That was such a heavy fucking album. You know, it was a heavy,
Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the topic matter that the songs deal with. Yeah, everything.
I was speaking musically, but I mean, content also.
Yeah.
You know, but man, that when I heard that, I was just like, oh my god.
And boy, did it really define what would become like the Bay Area metal sound. And I mean, they were a SoCal band. I think at that point they had moved up to the Bay Area, but the influence.
I think they were in LA for a while.
I believe they started there. And then, but there was more of a scene in the Bay Area.
New York for a while too.
But I think that was more of a that was trying to get signed and get a record deal and do recording and stuff. But once they came up to the Bay Area, that's where they sort of pilfered Kirk Hammett from Exodus, and he really sort of, not on Kill 'Em All, you know, because those were old songs, but then moving forward, now you saw this sort of Bay Area thrash scene injecting itself into their sound.
Yeah.
And it changed everything for all the bands, the metal bands in the Bay Area.
Speaking of Exodus, fucking, who Kirk Hammett was the founder of, which... fucking Gary Holt is the other co-founder of Exodus, who is now in the replacement for Jeff Hanneman in Slayer.
Right.
He's the Slayer guitarist now.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And has been for like 6 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So, and I fucking love Gary Holt, and he is the absolute perfect
person to fill that gap. Sure.
Because he just fucking shreds, man. I mean, the guy is a prolific fucking shredder. Riffs for days.
But Hanneman was a prolific writer. A lot of people don't realize, I mean, just because Kerry King's kind of the icon of that band, a lot of people don't realize that Jeff Hanneman wrote almost all those songs.
He did. He wrote Angel of Death.
Yeah, dude. He was the primary songwriter. And so to lose him was a blow. It was a major blow to that band. But, you know, God bless them devil bless them, or whoever fucking blesses them, you know, for continuing. And Slayer is such a unique entity. Slayer doesn't sound like anybody else.
That is the truth.
You instantly recognize them.
Yeah.
That when you hear them play, you immediately know it's
is
Slayer. And they have a sound that is uniquely their own. And love them or hate them, you cannot deny the originality of that. Yeah, they're a great.
When I first started listening,
a great
to Slayer,
testament to the direction music could go.
Right.
You know, there can still be something that is unique in music.
They fucking kill, man.
Yeah, and I mean, beloved band, like huge fan base, like. Some people are obsessively crazy about Slayer.
Maniacal Slayer fans.
Right, and then, but at least, even if you're not a maniacal Slayer fan, if you like metal, you know Slayer. Even if you don't like Slayer, you know Slayer.
And if you like metal, you have to like Slayer.
And, generally, you see bands without, you like Green Day taking it all back, where like they have a sound, and it's going to influence another generation, and then you have all these little pop-ups that sound very reminiscent of that other band. Slayer is hugely influential, but nobody sounds like Slayer.
That's true.
Nobody sounds like them.
You can't.
Yeah. So,
it's impossible.
Yeah. So, God bless Slayer. God bless Pentaton. Wow, this has been a very metal-centric episode.
I think we've been all over the map, actually.
We did do some Waylon Jennings and Green Day. I guess we kind of...
In philosophy, we got into some philosophy.
Carl Jung. That's...
Young
and things, sir, you wouldn't understand. The world needs ditch diggers too, Danny.
So, I think, we have a website.
We do. It is AnvilHammerHatchet.com. There is a T in hatchet for those illiterate folks out there who don't know how it's spelled. It's HATCHET. So it's AnvilHammerHatchet.com. No spaces, no underscores, no the reels, no that. It's just AnvilHammerHatchet.com. We've got an email address. It's AnvilHammerHatchet.com@gmail.com.
I think it's just AnvilHammerHatchet@gmail.com, isn't it?
What did I say?
.com.
Oh no, yeah. Restate. See, this is why this is why I like those breaks. I like when shit gets tilted. AnvilHammerHatchet@gmail.com. That's the email address. If there's listeners, please hit us up. If there's any topics you want us to cover, music-based, hit us up. Other than music-based,
any questions,
whatever. Yeah.
Any questions.
Bands you'd like us to discuss. We talked about Sabbath today. We talked about Metallica. We talked about a litany of different Waylon Jennings. We talked about a ton of different bands.
And if you want to talk about movies, we love movies.
Hey, Poltergeist. We talked about
Poltergeist. Got thrown in there.
We talked about Coach. If there's TV shows you want to Stranger Things or whatever, there's so much new. I'm a huge fan of the Marvel stuff that Netflix is doing.
Right.
I've seen all the series so far.
Netflix is killing it right now.
Killing it. Love Netflix. So yeah, any of television, movies, streaming stuff that you'd like us to discuss, give our opinions on, send us an email. It's AnvilHammerHatchet@gmail.com. And we're going to try and stay on a strict schedule. We're going to try and do this once a week. And we're going to try and get our third Mike in here next week.
We're going to get Ross in here.
We got to get Ross in here.
And also, I think we're definitely going to have some guests. I know we're going to have guests.
We're definitely having guests.
Matter of fact, that's I think going to kind of be the whole purpose is we're going to have people on here, whether local people or if we're lucky enough to have somebody who wants to actually come down and sit with us, then we'll do that.
Yep, we're definitely going to have in-studio guests. We're going to have do some Skype interviews with some people from out of town.
Yep.
It's definitely, we have big plans. We have big plans. Think of this as a growing colossus. It is going to get
Episode
big.
number 1. This is number 1.
This is episode number 1, but it's definitely not going to be the last. So thanks for listening, and check us out on all the social media.
We'll see you next time.
Take it easy, guys.
Anvil, Hammer, Hatchet Podcast.